In manufacturing, we make a lot of thread. Whether you're making that thread with a standard cutting tap, a roll form tap, or a thread mill, a thread gauge is essential to ensure you're actually making it to specification. You may be familiar with the fact that you're going to have a go and a no-go side, but you may not be familiar with all of the key components that are necessary to ensure your gauge is properly manufactured. And I'm going to go over those with you today so that you know when you're using your thread gauge to check, you're actually checking the thread to the specifications and there's no interference. Check it out. If you'll see here, I've got the handout from EMUGE for their thread gauges. Now, when it comes to quality of thread gauges, I haven't found a higher quality manufacturer. I'm going to share some of those points with you. Some things to note: EMUGE removed the incomplete threads and it's easier to put in and start. So you make sure you're starting straight up and down and you're not cockeyed off to an angle. So you're actually able to check if the thread's going to go or not. I don't know how many times on the shop floor, you have someone trying a gauge and you walk up, put it in. Sure, a guy with the right hand is going to be able to figure it out, but we're trying to make it so many people of a variety of skill set can use these gauges, and EMUGE has the solution. You can see the dirt groove there on sizes over 1/4 inch or 5.5 mil. That dirt groove is there because, let's face it, we use a lot of metal working fluid as we're making our threads, and taking forever to clean them out isn't always the best practice. Being able to quickly give it a blow and put this in and know that your threads aren't going to get damaged by the gauge is always a handy feature. Be aware of this. Not a lot of the competition does put work in that EMUGE does to making a properly toleranced and constructed gauge. Some other things to note is the knurled steel body that's flat on both sides. The flat on both sides helps to remove if a gauge gets a little sticky, but it also gives you ample room to mark your calibration data or your dates or anything else directly on the shaft, and they'll even do custom engraving for you. There's the clear identification. You've got the no-go with the red. Notice this cutout right here, the recessed minor on the thread of the no-go for safe function. Now, what'll happen sometimes is you will put your thread gauge, your no-go, into a hole and it won't go. But the reason it's not going is actually because there's been a bit of a burr formation when the tap or the thread mill overcut, and that results to your no-go not going. However, there's actually not enough material there for that thread to be safe. If your thread's not safe and something comes undone, you're the one liable. Ensure that the thread gauges you use have that handy feature to make sure you're properly inspecting the parts and they're going to function as designed. I hope you learned a little bit more about thread gauges here. EMUGE puts a ton of work and they have an amazing stock level when it comes to these thread gauges on a global level. For everyone out in job shop land, if you need a thread gauge on short order, like right now, then look no further than EMUGE. They've got them on the shelf ready and waiting to ship. The steel body construction, the hardened steel for the ends, everything is a higher quality level, which means they're going to last. They're not going to wear out. All of the thought and care that they put into the design of this gauge to ensure that you are properly equipped in your shop to know without a doubt that you're meeting specification can literally save lives. Until next time, keep your spindle turning and earning.